Look, it's Grumpy. How you doing? Yeah, the shirt fits.
Yeah.
Hey, you ready to get this wrapped up?
Yes.
You ready to get this project done?
Well, I'm having fun with it, but yes.
You sure?
Yeah, it's still good. It's always good to get it to completion where you can say, we did that.
Is it time to celebrate yet?
Not quite.
Nah.
But we're close.
You never wanted to celebrate.
Unless usually it's at the very end when it's all said and done, it's pulling out your shop and it's like, we did that. That's time to celebrate.
That's when you celebrate.
But we can have little milestones where you're like, you know what? We did this. That's what we're fixing to show you right now.
Let's go show them. All right, guys, big day here at the shop on the Willys project. Got Barry again. And
unfortunately.
That's right. And he has really thought about something that's super important that I don't think a lot of us think about. And that's making sure that the chassis is actually level. And I don't mean level on the ground, I mean not twisted. So we're gonna walk through a process. You can see he's got a level in his hand right there. And we're gonna walk through a process of verifying that each end of the chassis is level, and to make sure we weld the front end up level. We're gonna show you how we're gonna do all that.
Anytime you're dealing with the frame, you don't want to have part of the frame like this and then weld another part of the frame like that. You'll never get alignments done. It'll ride funny. It'll be very dangerous actually. So the idea is, let's get the entire frame from front to back on the same plane. The easiest way is to get it all on a level plane, because they make these little tools called levels.
Hey.
And the little bubble doesn't lie. So that's probably the simplest way for most of us, backyard guys, to do this. And so what we did was we started at the back. We didn't really have much of a choice near the rear of the Willys. You don't have an alternative on where these things go. The frame goes inside this rear bumper bracket, and that's where it goes. If it's off, then you got some twist in the frame we got to deal with. But what we did was we got it welded in place. We've got all the frame boxed in, and so we come back and we're going to try to get the back end on a level plane. And it was really close. The shop floors were close, but not quite right. As you can see, I've already shimmed the bottom of this stem to bring it up just a little. But when you look now, you see the little bubbles right between all the lines? Mm-hmm. So that means you're level. If it's off level anyway, and let's say the left side's a little higher than the right, the bubble wants to walk to the left. It starts getting in those lines. So we got the back end nice and level. So we're going to walk up to the front, closer near the front of the frame, and we're going to come across at a steady point across here somewhere, and also try to make sure that the chassis is level here.
Dead center.
As you can see, we've already had to put some shims under the bottom of the jack on that side. We have a drain built in the floor, so I knew there was going to be problems here. We got it shimmed up. The back of the frame's level, all the way up here to just about the engine mounts. Mm-hmm. So then we're going to come up here and we're going to look, because we're replacing this entire front assembly from the front frame warns to the bumper bracket, and we want to make sure we set up a jig previously, and as we showed you, I believe, in previous videos, we have a jig built that aligns not only our brackets for the front end of the body, as well as these leaf spring mounts. And we did that on the original one when we welded all this together and built this jig. Now that we've got all the old parts cut off and the new parts in place, assembled, they're not welded yet, we want to see, are we level like the rest of it? And so if you put it up there, what you'll see is the bubbles on the left side, which means the left side's a little higher than the right. And I can take one finger here and you watch the bubble. It's not a lot of stress because nothing's welded yet, and I can raise it up and get the bubble back in level again. So we're gonna take this jack, and you don't normally just take a piece of wood and put under anything and jack it up. You want safety measures first. This is not a safety issue because we're just dealing with an empty frame. I'm just trying to get a little bit of pressure to hold it in place steady. If you try to do it with your hand, you're not gonna be able to hold it there. You're gonna have some jiggling going on and so forth. So It's just to apply a little bit of pressure, hold it in place while we start tacking spots on the frame horns, and then we'll come back and full weld it once we double checked everything again. Cutting off this battery tray, it does look original. It's still got the hot weld rivets on it. I believe this came from the factory as such. However, or maybe with some extra stuff that has gotten eaten up by battery acid over time. But I believe this was the original deal. However, no one offers anything that looks like this. So we're going to go back with what they say is the 41 Willys NB battery tray. What Willys says came on the 41 to 49 at the time. It doesn't look anything, it's not structured anything like the original that came on this particular model. But again, this was a prototype, and an early prototype at that. So this is what we're going to run with, and it's going to go something about like so. Give or take a little bit of adjustment. This is about where she belongs. This piece here has to fit down on top of it and beside the frame. And so that's getting us down to close to par. Got a little bit of work to do still in the middle, but may have to shim it up. I'm not sure exactly. This, like I said, this is not the tray that belonged on this prototype, but it's going to work when we're done with it. Dr. John, knowing that you are now a legalized dentist, and that's what, yeah, how was that? Was that a bad cavity there?
Got major dental issues, dude.
Oh, well, you're getting it fixed though, right?
Gotta pull them off.
Okay, let's get after it.
Thank you. We got another fire over here.
So Barry, we got it done.
We did.
What a day. It started early.
It's been a long one.
You look really tired.
Yeah.
Look, we're gonna turn this camera around and show off the fruits of your labor. Front bumper's on, cross members on, battery trays on.
Bumper rooms.
Yes, well, yeah. We've actually got some boxing of the frame rail. Got a little finishing work to do there. It's well on its way. Barry's dad made us a customized plate. Wasn't that kind of him? V-brace, rear cross member. So now, what's left? A lot of finishing, priming, painting.
Yeah, the prep work is always where it's at. Spraying paint, that's one thing. That makes it pretty. But you can have either a shiny masterpiece or you can have a shiny turd. And so we want a shiny masterpiece. So, excuse me, a shiny piece of excrement. So if you just leave everything yucky and paint over it, it'll be shiny, or it'll be, in this case, it's gonna be flat. But you don't want the lumps that aren't supposed to be there showing through. So you got, grinding, you've got sanding and getting all the old paint and primer off, getting down to raw metal. If you're gonna do any filling, you do the filling and sanding again. More and more sanding. There's lots of sanding to do.
I hate sanding.
Yes, we're gonna fix him up. You've got a lot of prep work. That's probably about 95% of what you see in these fine paint jobs on these show cars, which I used to do 30 years ago. About 95% of the work's all in the prep. Before you ever pick up a paint gun or mix up your first little quart of paint, it's all getting to that point, which is where we are now. Now that we're through with the metal fabrication, we can move on to the prep work.
Long day, lots of work has happened. We got more episodes coming. We are going to be coming back next episode. We're going to paint this baby. She's going to be olive drab again for the first time in a long time. But you do not want to miss that, so make sure you tune in for the next episode of John's Garage.
Peace out.